good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh.
Hey, Redman is in the building. You already know.
Hey guys, this is Emily Peachy.
Shout out, man, to Worldwide Collaborations, man.
I want to shout out Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
Shout out to the Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
World movement, beyond thousands of movements.
The world movement, beyond thousands of movements.
All about representing each other together. So check this out.
What's up? You want to be a part of this? You want to be a part of the Worldwide Collaboration?
You guys should all be a part of Worldwide Collaboration.
Worldwide Collaborations LLC. Check us out, man, and check what's going on, man. Word up. I have recently been choosing to be a spokesman and an ambassador, so you will see a lot more of me. Join the movement, man. It's beyond thousands of movements right now and talents put together, all about representing each other together.
I want to join, so I might see you there. All right, much success.
It is a worldwide collaboration song.
Yeah. Look, brainstorming, creating, thinking the new ideas, inventing innovations, representing everything, having members collaborate, worldwide collaborations.
All right. We are back for another Star Study episode with your boy King Jacob. I'm your host of the evening, and you know we're gonna be chopping up. But I hope everybody had a great weekend, a great Memorial weekend. I hope everybody, you know, got back into the groove of things today. Terrific Tuesdays, Tune In Tuesdays, and Tap In Tuesdays. You know, we all about that Tuesday love, man. So without further ado, you know, I have he don't really need no introduction, man. You know, my man 50 grand. You know, $1 million Eddie. You know how to go. Ikon E, as he say. Mm-hmm. So Ikon, what's up, man?
What's going on, fam?
Hey man, everything going on. Boy, I just celebrated my B-Day on Monday, man. I'm 50 years old now. I've been here on this half a century, and man, you know, I will say, man, I was just ecstatic and grateful, man, just thanking God, man, because a lot of my cats that I started out with, they ain't make 50. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was a journey of like thankfulness, man, gratefulness, man. I didn't, you know, I had a few drinks here and there, man, but most of all, just really reflecting, man, and you know, looking how far I've come and my growth and you know, it never seemed to amaze me, man. The things we think about when we was younger, man, and we get to live on this earth, and we get to get that thing that we call experience in our life. It teaches us a nice little lesson. So, you know, I'm just grateful, man. So, you out here on this road, you know. Ain't no telling where you at, man. I might call you more. You might be in Egypt.
I'm in a bit of Idaho right now, so trying to get to the hotel room in a minute. So, but trying to get to this bag.
He said he in Idaho, out there with the Potato King. Oh man, I hear that
for sure.
So man, we gonna get into this topic, man. We're gonna get into this topic. Apple Music says the two greatest albums of all time are by Lauryn Hill, Miss Education, and I forgot what Kendrick Lamar album did they say was one of the greatest of all time?
Mad City.
Okay. Now, I've been listening to hip hop for a very long time in the hip hop business. So to say Lauryn Hill, no, Lauryn, no disrespect for you. Yeah, you got one of the coldest albums, but to say it's one of the greatest of all time, I don't know about that, baby girl. I just don't know about that. You know, and you know, I don't know if I can pay attention to Apple Music because you're just a screaming site. I don't really know if you know anything about hip hop Apple. you just make money off hip hop. To be honest
Mm-hmm.
with you, you know what I mean. So for them to say something like that in a bold statement and stood on top of it, what was your thoughts?
I thought one, Apple Music done lost their mind, and two, I'll put it to you like this: when our album came out, it was probably I know it was considered probably the best album of that year. And I remember working at Outback Steakhouse, bro, and we had a 6 disc CD changer in the kitchen, and Lauryn Hill's album probably never left out that CD changer. We might have changed and put all kind of different song albums and CDs in there from Biggie's out from Jay-Z's Volume 2 to whoever. And that one CD probably stayed in because white people, black people loved her. So the waitress was loving Lauryn Hill, we was loving Lauryn Hill, the whole nine. I give her credit for having one of the greatest albums ever made. But when we start talking about greatest albums over time, think about this, bro. You're a historian of music. We got to go all the way back to Ray Charles. We got to go back to Stevie Wonder. We have to go back to uh, 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 the Temptations, Earth, Wind, and Fire. You know what I'm saying? We got to go back to. It's a lot of artists and groups that you have to factor in.
But
Not
now,
not the
Icon, they did state those two people have the greatest two rap albums of all time.
but
Not
that
just
wasn't
music.
the list. That wasn't the list, bro. The list, if you look at the top 10 list, it had Nirvana on that list and it had Amy Winehouse on that list. So they were talking about overall. It wasn't had nothing to do with hip hop.
Well,
That's what I was telling somebody the other day.
maybe they cleaned it up after people started getting into a frenzy. Because what I seen today, they said, make no mistake about it, we were talking about the best two rap albums. But I understand what you're saying. And shout out to Miyoshi Trail for tapping in with us, a sensational gospel artist, singer, songwriter, and producer. And we definitely gonna get her, on the 95 South podcast as well. She's so dope, man. She's one of my favorite up and coming gospel artists. And we gonna do some work with her. I come for sure, man.
Okay.
So this is what I would say about that miseducation. I like Kendrick, man, but I can't even say that I listen to Kendrick like that. I listen to some of his songs here and there, but when it comes to that, I can tell you, I listened to that Mixed Education album for a very long time and listen to it today. You know what I mean? I can say the reason why people might consider that as one of the best albums is because the message in the album. You know what I mean? She had some messages
Mm-hmm.
out that was out of this world. Very positive, very uplifting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can just, if we can wrap our mind around it, what if Lauryn Hill had just kept making music, man, and come out with at least an album every year? She's been in the business for 25 years now. So if she had did something like that, yeah, I can say that. But for me, man, it's so hard to say the two top albums. I can't say it's two, bro. I mean, if you say if I can give you 10 top albums or 20 top albums, I can say that, man. So I just want to ask you a personal question. What are your favorite 5 artists to listen to? And that can be from any genre.
Okay, so my favorite artist to listen to is R. Kelly, is New Edition, is Biggie Smalls, is um I would have to say, hmm, hmm. I would have to probably say, because I go back, I listen to a lot of Plies for some crazy reason, and I'm gonna give one gospel album. I love Kirk Franklin. I thought Kirk Franklin's album with something about the name of Jesus was one of his and was one of his greatest was one of the greatest albums I ever heard. because my greatest rap album of all time is Ready to Die. That's my greatest rap album. So if they want to just talk about category of rap, then that's my greatest rap is Ready
Okay.
to Die.
Okay. I would say my greatest. Um, I would say one of my. Of course, I'm gonna say Robert Kelly. Um, I'm gonna say that me myself, I've listened to every Joe Levert album ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would say I'm gonna say MJ and Prince, and then last but not least, I'm gonna say, man, you know, when it comes to the gospel album, man, the gospel, bro, you gonna definitely hear me listen to Fred Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that, you know what I mean. But when it comes to Apple saying what they said, I I just thought it wasn't logical at all.
No,
Um, and
it was disrespectful too.
yeah. I just think that I don't ever think that Kendrick Lamar would get on the level of LL Cool J. Ever.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because that album ain't better than Mama Said Knock You Out. Not better than that album. It's a great album. Don't get me wrong. I like the creativity of it because the way he did the skits and all of that. So it's a great album, creativity wise or whatever. But this is my problem issue with the whole thing, bro. If you look at like Michael Jackson, okay, it was ahead of Michael Jackson as far as the greatest album of all time. Michael, if you take that Thriller album, I would say I don't know how many songs on the album, maybe 12 to 14 songs, whatever it is. At least probably about 8 of those songs still in rotation on radio. And I'm not talking about just urban radio. I mean radio in general. At least probably 7 to 8 of those songs off that album. If you listen to Kendrick Lamar album, his best song off that album was the swimming song, whatever the song that song was. That song barely gets any. You don't even hear that song on the radio. You know what I'm saying? You may hear it in the club every now and then, but that song. So how is it going to be one of the greatest albums of all time when those songs don't even get really like it's not in like regular rotation all over radio like that. And you might name one or two songs. Lauryn Hill the same way. She got maybe a couple of songs from that album that you hear on the radio all the time. And I got Sirius XM. And I don't never hear Kendrick Lamar song on Sirius XM from that album. And Lauryn Hill, I see here like the same, maybe 2 or 3 songs from that album. So there's no way that's one of the two greatest in the top 10 of greatest albums of all time.
And
No way.
man, and I'm gonna say this: neither one of them albums can ever compare to Thriller or the Prince Purple
No.
Rain album.
No.
Like,
No.
listen, man, like Kendrick, you know, I salute you for perfecting your craft. I salute you for coming out the mud and being an iconic artist. But man, listen, they how can I say this? And people might find this as a shot at the culture. I'm not. I'm not taking a shot, man. But Kendrick, you ain't sold more records than Eminem.
Yeah.
Um,
And, and I want to say this though. Right now, when you talk about sales, because somebody said to me the other day when I was saying something about this on Facebook, they said that well, Lauryn Hill was the first female artist or artist to win hip hop album of the year. And when he first said it, he said he said she was the first one to win a Grammy. And I said no, she wasn't. Queen Latifah, MC Light, Jazzy Jeff, and Fresh Prince won Grammys before that. He was like, "What I meant album." And I said, "Well, I said even if that's the case, that doesn't make her the greatest album of all time just because she won album of the year. When people will tell you, rap artists have been complaining about the Grammys for years for not." necessarily being nominated for awards. So if that's the case, you got to say Killer Mike is the greatest rap album of all time because he won 3 Grammys in one night. You know what I'm saying? He had a clean sweep that night, like just a few months back, and people was complaining about him winning Grammys, saying that he well, where the Killer Mike come from, and that album wasn't that good, and this, that, and the third. So if she's considered the greatest female artist of all time, then that means Killer Mike got to be considered the greatest rap artist of all time. If you gonna do it like that,
Mm,
and we know that's not the case.
no. So
So
you know, Kendrick, not even in my top 10. Not in
not
your
me,
top.
me neither.
Not in your top 10. I know
No,
you too well. Not in your top 10.
no.
Um, do I think other females give homage to Lauryn Hill? I do, because I've heard Queen Latifah do it. I've heard MC Light do it. You know, I've hear her give homage to them too, pay homage to them as well. And do do I think that we need Lauryn Hill back into the music arena just based on her message? I'm gonna say yeah. Based on what she stands for and the principle of what she stands for and how she writes her music and the conviction of her music with like a spiritual sense to really grab people and make them think. I think she did that. You know what I'm saying? And I think the artists that be saying something that's intellectual, like a Talib Kweli, like a Mos Def, like a AZ, like 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 you don't even hear Nas on the radio like that, bro. And he's one of the hottest artists ever. You know, they ever touched the microphone. So for Apple to
Well, I'm gonna
say
say this. Go ahead.
for Apple to say that, man, I just felt I ain't gonna tell you no lie, 'cause I felt some sort of way.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm not even sure that Lauryn Hill really has another miseducation type album in her. And the reason why I say that is because when you said what she's staying on, and I'm like, but if you look at the history since she made that album, she's been very lazy. She has been very disrespectful towards the culture and towards like she took for granted what she has for me, not showing up for shows, showing up late, times that she disrespect, stories of her disrespecting people and doing whatever. So to me, she's like, even though Kyrie Irving may change the narrative on him this year by getting to the NBA Finals, she was like the Kyrie Irving of rap to me, where basically she got all this credit for doing one thing. He got all this credit for making one shot, but then for the next 6, 7 years, disrespected the game. And she kind of in the same boat where she did all this credit for making one great album, and then she's considered the greatest artist of all rap female artist of all time. Which to me, if we're gonna give that credit to somebody, I would give more credit to Missy Elliott than I would her. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
When you say yeah, so that's the way I would look at it. For me, that I'm not giving her more credit. It's a great album, but I think she gets way too much credit for that one album. And then people say, well, what about the Fuji's album? But the Fuji album, a lot of it was more of a Wyclef influence than it was her. She did her thing on it, don't get me wrong, but that was really Wyclef's baby more than anybody, more than hers.
So what do you think happened to Lauryn Hill, man?
I just
Per-
think,
Personally, man,
we talk.
what do you think? Like,
Okay, you gonna feel me on this. I'm not gonna say the person's name, but somebody that's close to us, when they got pretty much what they wanted out of it, that's all they needed. And you know who I'm talking about. When they got the little bit of fame or got where they wanted to, it was like I don't want this no more. I'm good. So it's just like Any athlete or any person, when they accomplish a certain goal, and once they get that goal, like somebody once they get the bag, sometimes they like, all right, I'm good. I don't really care about continue to make music or doing or keep going. So I think that's whatever she accomplished with that album, whatever came with all of that, she didn't want it. She didn't want all the fame. She didn't want to be pulled in 20 different directions. So she didn't want all that, because if she wanted all that, you'll show up for shows on time. You wouldn't be late. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't cancel shows. You wouldn't do certain things that she does if you really love your craft like that. I know we all go through things, but this been going on for years with her. You know what I mean? So to me, I just feel like she don't love the music the way that album, but it might have sounded on that album. She made her one great album, and maybe that was enough for her, and then she dipped off.
Okay, okay, okay. And shout out to Big Steve out of Greenville, South Carolina, Southern Stars checking in. Thank you for the birthday love, brother, and thanks for tapping in to the chatterbox with King Jacob, man. We definitely appreciate you for sure. So, why is everybody ready to crown Kendrick Lamar so fast, bro? You didn't crown LL like that, and man, and he worked hard for years. So why do you guys want to crown Kendrick Lamar? He ain't put enough work in to be considered the greatest rapper of all time. That makes no sense to me. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I wouldn't necessarily say he hasn't put enough work in. I just think because we're in a different era, people expect you to put out an album, once every year, every 2 years. And if you think about artists back in the day, they didn't really put out music like that. And we're in an era where you got to keep putting out music every 3, 4 months, 6 months, year for people to consider that you're doing a lot or whatever. Now I will say this: Kendrick, to me, he does a lot of more quality than he does just quantity of music, like Drake. Like Drake got to the point where he's just doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think he really put his heart and soul in it. He's just doing stuff because he moved. You know what I'm saying, or whatever he did. And I think because he liked the attention, he's just gonna put stuff out no matter what it do. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about him. That's kind of how Lil Wayne got. Lil Wayne just started just putting out stuff that just, why is you doing this? It's terrible.
Hey man,
But
you gonna get up off of Drizzy like that, bro.
I'm just saying.
Man,
So
you be riding Drizzy real bad, bro.
I'm just saying. I just don't think. I just don't. For me, I just don't think Drake. To me, is like I don't think he takes this seriously at all. To me, because the
Not
bullshit he put out
well,
the last.
I can say not no more. Cause he been
Yeah,
on
he don't
top for
take.
too long, bro. He like when you done been on top as long as he have, and really can't nobody touch you, and nobody has got more Billboard awards you besides Michael Jackson. Like, and you in hip hop, and they reference your name to Michael Jackson. Like something go to your head. Like, bro, please, man, I ain't worried about none of these dudes. They really can't touch me with a 10-foot pole. And I can say they don't work as hard as do. He do. He don't never take no days off, bro. Like he always on peaks. He always got something coming out, man. He don't really rest. Like some guys might take 2-3 years off. You ain't gonna catch Drake doing that, bro. He don't
And what
want
I,
that.
what I called him, and you know what I call him all the time. I call him the LeBron James of rap, because no matter what he does, some of his peers is never gonna respect him because they still hanging on to the ghostwriting thing, and they don't look at him as a true hip hop artist, especially off of the stuff he's done over the last few years. So a lot of people never gonna really put him in his, maybe a lot of people feel like his proper place. So I think by when Kendrick won this battle, for a lot of people, I think it was the best thing that could ever happen to rap, because people don't want to give Drake his crown the same way they don't want to give LeBron his crown. So it's the same. It's kind of the same thing. No matter what they do, it's always going to people that's going to be like, whatever, this, that, and the third. So that's what I told you. I said when you was talking about the stuff he's done, and he's not just a rap artist. I said, yeah, you correct. I said, but when it came to this battle, that was all about hip hop. They had nothing to do with the Elevator album he did, Elevator music album he did. Ain't nothing to do with all the pop stuff he do. This battle was all about hip hop, and he did his thing. He didn't drop the ball at all. But Kendrick was just better than him in this particular battle. It's okay. It's fine. You can't win every battle. You know what I'm saying? Move on. You're still great. It is what it is. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's expecting him always to win, no matter what. And he went against somebody that was better than him lyrically. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing wrong with it.
I mean,
You know.
I don't really think he really worried about it too much because he know that he gonna get back in his bag. He gonna get to the bag, and he know that they still gonna love him no matter what. You know,
Exactly. And This
he,
fan and his core fan base, his core fan base really not like that anyway. His core fan base is these white girls and these women. His core fan base is not dudes. So he don't really care
man,
about you
he
know.
already told you. You know, he don't make music for dudes. He said that way in the beginning of his career, man. He said dudes don't
Hmm.
buy records, dudes don't support nothing, man. I don't make records for dudes. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
if they fall in line and like the music because they had chick listen to it, he said, yeah, that's good. But man, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, man. We're gonna be right back with Ikon E. Talk about this music business, why the Apple Music say that Drake and Lauryn Hill was the top two.
You mean Kendrick.
Uh, Kendrick and Lauryn Hill, excuse me, was the top two hottest people in music of all time. That's what they said, man. I just said, man, don't really shoot the messenger, man. I feel like I need to be like Shay Shay, taking me a sip of cognac. You know what I mean? For real, for real. But I ain't said though. But we'll be right back with more important messages.
Hip hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot let that point elude us. These are the facts. How do we know? 1967, Kerner Commission report on urban disorder. When black people said, yo, we're tired of this system. You know what I mean? This system is oppressing us. So we rebelled against the system. We burned things. We said, yo, we had enough. He did his little report on what caused these riots. He said, what caused these riots? He said it was young children who started these riots, and what was motivating them was a high self-esteem and an enhanced racial pride. He said the majority of the rioters were high school dropouts, but they had a higher political orientation than their peers who did not drop out. And they saw the system as their enemy, so they attacked.
Well, yeah, we back, man. That was my man, Wise Intelligent, man. Be dropping them jewels, man. Old school, man. Old school fella. Been in the hip hop industry about 30 years. That's my man, Wise Intelligence. Shout out to the poor righteous teachers, man. Shout out to the poor
Let,
righteous.
let me give you something real quick, bro. So I'm looking at the list, right? So we got Lauryn Hill number one, right? Thriller number two. Now Purple Rain was number four, and then of course you got Stevie Wonder was six, and I'm just naming like some of the urban artists. Um, you call Kendrick was number seven. Then you go down to Beyonce 10, Jay Z's Blueprint was 13. The next album, The Chronic was 19. Then when you get to the next, you can say Kanye West was 20. Was Kanye West? My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was 26. Now this is where it's starting to get like ridiculous. Low End Theory was 29. Ready to Die was 32. Public Enemy, It's a Text of Millions was 34. And Wu Tang was 37. Criminal was 41. and then you get all the way down to about maybe around, and then Drake Take Care was 47. So to me, I already don't like this list already because when it even comes to the artists who had great albums like Tribe, like Kanye West, I think they picked the wrong album for one.
Hold
Because
on.
most people will tell you that Tribe's best album was the album after Low End Theory. Um, what's the name of the album? But I think it was their third album, not the Low End Theory album, the album after Low End Theory. You know what I'm saying? So most people tell you that. When it comes to Kanye West, most people probably tell you it was one of the first three albums. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. That was one of his greatest albums. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying? Whatever.
I can do that. I
So
can do that. So we're gonna move along from there. We gonna ask a few questions. You've been in this music business for a very long time, Icon. You've seen a
mhm.
lot of stuff. You've been around a lot of people. Um, what is something that you would want to tell to a up and coming artist that's inspiring artists to get into the music business? How would you guide them?
I mean, first I would say when it comes to your music nowadays, try to focus more on being to have more quality music and not try to be like everybody else and talk about the same thing that we've heard over the last probably 20, 30 years of just street music and guns and violence and drugs and all that. Secondly, I would say when it comes to the business of music, the business is 90% business and about 10% of your music. So understanding what you need to know when it comes to your masters, your publishing, you know what I mean, getting your music on uh uh television and film and things of that nature. And um being putting yourself out there. I think too many artists nowadays focus way too much on the streaming channels and the streaming networks versus like actually getting putting boots to the ground as far as being out there, being showing your face, being in the clubs, being in the whether it's the regular clubs where you talking to the DJs, whether it's your strip clubs, getting the DJs and the dancers to dance to your music, whether it's going to different events, festivals, like the open mic scene in most cases, especially in Atlanta, is a dead thing. So the open mic scene is not necessarily what it used to be 10 years ago. So I would say, but if you got a lot of these festivals, you need to be showing up. You know what I mean? I shouldn't see the same 10, 15 artists at every festival, as far as not nobody new. You know what I'm saying? Like if it every year it should be new artists coming up, and those artists need to be at those festivals networking. And the one thing I taught my son, we did an event about 4 months ago in Charlotte, and my son he came with me, him and her artists that he working with. And the thing they didn't do, they didn't perform at the event. Now they were supposed to, but it was some stuff that happened. They couldn't perform, whatever the case may be, some miscommunication stuff. It's fine. But what my son learned, because it was like a 2 3 day festival. We was or seminar, and it was a lot of streaming networks and DJs and producers and artists and all that. So in a 2 or 3 day span, my son and his artist, King Country, shout out to King Country, um, was able to go out there and learn and network and learn a lot about the business as a whole. Um, so that's the main thing, is understanding this business. Because if you don't understand how to navigate, and then also I think artists need to start utilizing radio more. Everybody's saying radio is dead, which that's a lie. Because if radio was dead, most of the artists that get real money is on radio. You know what I'm saying? Almost artists are getting, and I ain't even talking about on Drake level. I'm just talking about like if you talking about a 21 Savage, a little baby, if you talk about, if you even go to other genres of music, or whatever, even your Southern Soul artists are starting to get played more on the radio. So to me, I think that artists in the hip hop world, they got caught up in thinking, oh well, I can blow up and I can get where I want to go just by using TikTok or using Instagram or using Twitter and all these platforms. But I'm telling you now, if you want to really, if you want these promoters to really book you and get you to the bag, then you need to be on some kind of radio platform, whether it's digital, whether it's uh, terrestrial, whatever it is, you need to be on some kind of radio platform or whatever the case may be. So that's what I would say to artists when it comes to getting yourself out there is to start utilizing radio again or whatever. Yeah, there's some artists, independent artists who don't use it and still get booked for shows or whatever. But the majority of artists who don't have exposure and put themselves on radio is not getting booked for shows. They just not. You know what I'm saying? So start using radio more.
Okay, okay. So when it comes to you, you have an ear for this music. What piques your interest about an artist?
When they different, I love to see an artist perform more than I do. Cause like if I see an artist perform more so than I just hear their music, it I can get I get a better I have a better respect for them. I take you back when Erica Badu came out with her first album, and of course we heard a couple of songs or whatever on the radio, but when I seen her perform in person and she did her whole catalog. This was back in about 98, 99, whenever her album came out. And she pretty much did her whole album that night. She was performing with Outkast. We was at Auditorium in Winston-Salem. And she did her whole album that night. And I went out immediately the next day and bought that album. So to me, I think when an artist is different and brings their energy on stage, and because a lot of times with your music is the song might not be the greatest song in the world, but if you sell it with your energy and how you perform it, then it you know what I'm saying, then people will gravitate to you or whatever. Like if you think about the baby songs are not really the greatest songs, really. It's just the way he presents them and his energy, the way he people puts out his music out, what makes people gravitate to him.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
So with that being said, who do you think stands out nowadays and why?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question because I don't really
I
have.
think J. Cole stands out. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Cole ain't real flashy. You don't see him with the diamonds in his ears. You don't see him with the big blinged out chains and stuff. You see, if you go to a Cole concert, man, you gonna see a white tee, some jogging pants, probably some ones, and that's it, man. Like, what's so crazy about it, this man got millions and millions of dollars, man, and you'll catch him riding a bicycle in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he live at. You know what I mean? Where he's from. So, and then he don't really curse in his music at all. You know what I mean? So I think that's what make people like. Cause I heard mentions of him from like Big Daddy Kane and KRS One and Rakim and when they used to ask DMX who he liked, DMX would reference J Cole. You know what I mean? He hot. You know what I mean? And it was just interesting to me how all these old school cats used to like J Cole. You know what I mean? And they like him, and they be waiting for him to drop something so they can purchase it. So why do you think the old school cats like J Cole?
Well, before I answer that question, I'm gonna go back what you just said. When you asked me the original question was who stands out, and I'm gonna probably throw you off with this one. But who throws me? Who impresses me the most over the last couple of years is Lotto, and I'm gonna tell you why.
You talking about
Because
Big Lotto?
yeah, because we all seen her on the Jermaine Dupri when he was, grooming the kids to be artists, and everybody seen her potential. But I feel like for me, she really like takes her craft seriously. I've seen her like grow in the way she performs on stage. I remember seeing her a couple of years ago on BET, and it was like, oh my God, this was trash. To over the last year, she was a whole lot better. And I haven't seen an artist grow the way she grew, and the way other than the Migos. The Migos was the one artist that when I first seen them, I thought was the worst thing I ever heard. To actually putting out quality music and understanding how to perform on stage and do interviews and all of that. So to me, she's been the most impressive to me over the last several years when it comes to this generation of artists. But
Well,
but you
speaking of the Migos, I just couldn't get over when they said they was cooking in the crock pot and they weren't talking about no food. I just couldn't get over that, man. I just
yeah.
like, bro, you doing what in the crock pot? Hell no. But
But you gotta think the songs they did after that, they made a lot of cultural songs that like had people talking like them. They even slick had dance songs. And the hardest thing to do to get away with hip hop is to be able to do a dance song and to not become considered like artists that, well, they did this song, so that just make them, that's all they're about is just making dance song, like songs where you have to do a dance piece. And if you look at it, most of their biggest hits, they have some kind of dance that they do when they perform the song.
uh-huh.
See what I'm saying? So that's why I said culturally, they probably been the biggest. And when they said they was the best group since Outkast, I really, I agree with that. As far as they were the outcast of this generation, when it comes to the greatest group of all of their generation is the Migos. You know what I mean? So I will give them that credit.
I can see that, man. I can see that, man. I can really see that, man. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, man, and we're gonna come back and we going to chop it up about why artists appear to be so hard headed and fall on their face. And then they want to come back to the management so the management can do damage control so the managed can do what we call crisis management and clean stuff up at somebody else's expense. We'll
It
be back.
sound personal, bro.
We'll be we'll be back with more important messages.
Straight from the Brooklyn streets where they could see me at. Where it's never easy at, that's the borough we be at. Real hitters keep the strap for any type of beef or spat. Make your head tilt back like Ed a BC hat. That's where we gon' leave you at, make them take a leaky nap. Anytime that we attack, you don't want a piece of that. That thug mentality can be an aphrodisiac. But you're doing too much, homie, please relax. Don't make this animal damage you, animal banish you. Handle you flammable like a match. Do a candle, do with words, I'll be your man if you plan to do any anamical acting new against the intangible. You must be sniffing out vinyl. Realize I'm a G, you just Joe. Realize that's Mike, but not Dino. Samoye, yeah, not Wino.
All right. Shout out to my man Big Daddy Kane.
Yes, sir. He killed that. He killed that.
Yes, sir. So back to the question at hand, man. These artists will come to you and tell you, oh, I want this, I don't have no good management. I feel like management can take me to the next level. I need that proper guidance, I'll be perfecting my craft. Okay. Okay, all right. So listen to them. You say, oh, this song can go in that market, this song can go in that market. Okay. But if you start pushing, you listening now. They're making good music, but one foot in the streets, one foot in the studio. You know, they got a baby mama right here. They got one right here. They got one right here, and all of them come to the studio trying to fight him and stuff. And different times they trying to fight him, and then he's back, and then a promoter call and tell you, "Oh man, how he ain't come to this meet and greet, or he ain't come to this show, or and then you got to do this damage control, this crisis management." So I kind of how do you feel about things like that, man?
Um, it's sad that it come with the territory, but basically you gotta understand what you're dealing with the elements of what you're dealing with. Not to be funny, but when you're dealing with cats from the streets and you're dealing with chicks from the hood, certain things come with that a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? That baby mama drama gonna come with that. That, you know what I'm saying, that extra having all the homies around you gonna come with that. So certain things are gonna come with all of that. Do I like it? No. Um, my first artist I ever managed, you know what I'm saying, that, he had one foot in, one foot out. So it was hard to get him in the studio a lot of times. You know what I mean? And so just one of those things where, that's why over the years I always, would say like, listen, if you want me to jump on board, then I'm kind of like Puffy, or, you know what I'm saying? No Diddy, but I was just kind of like, bro, you got to figure, it's either or. We can't have you missing sessions and missing interviews and not showing up for shows and doing not whatever because you want to be out there on that corner on that block. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, you got somewhere to be. Then that block gonna have to wait. The streets ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And but I've seen more females get hurt behind because males can kind of control their personal life a little bit better. Females, it's kind of like when they start going through the baby daddy drama and different stuff, it's just like they just shut down. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And you can't find them, can't get them on the phone. Then it just be one excuse after another. So it just be like, you know what I mean? When my son told me, like, Dad, you might need to get another female artist or whatever, the man, I don't know. That's a lot of headache. That's a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
So I just
So,
think, man, a lot of artists think they be knowing, but they really don't know, man. They just know how to perfect their craft. They don't really know the corporate structure of the business, that we call the
mhm.
music industry. And so, and neither are they trying to find out to learn. Reading is fundamental, man. You say you want to know this and this, that, and the third, but you don't take time to read anything. And
Nope.
so, how can you understand what's going on if you don't take time to read, man? And so, I
Yeah.
just, I just think a lot of artists, man, they they fast talkers, bro. They'll convince you that they ready to do this, they ready to do that, and all as that they'll be ready to do shit. You know,
Yeah.
they be going nowhere fast. It's like you're rapping for so a chick can see you. You're not rapping so you
Hmm.
can disappear one day and go somewhere and just be chilling on a yacht in Bermuda or something like that. You have a call behind, or you're not rapping to really set up those trust funds for your kids. Like you doing this and that and third, and you just want to be seen, man. Like so, I ask each artist, do you have a 5-year plan if you're in the music industry, and what is your purpose? How do you plan to put out something that's impactful, that's gonna help the younger ones that's looking up to you?
Hmm.
I, and most of them have no answer when I ask them that. What? Why do you ask me that for? Why not?
Yeah.
You're a grown ass man. Well,
Hmm.
why not?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of man, it's different, man. I know when we was doing the open mics, man. It's a place in when I lived in Florida, man. Every Monday that thing was packed about 500 people at an open mic. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
Was it
like
Orlando?
it was in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then and then a lot of times just like used to manage artists for a long time, man. But you tired, bro. It left a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because artists not loyal. Artists are only as loyal as where they feel like they loyal up to the point where the next person to get in their ear. So it's like as soon as somebody get in their ear that can talk a little faster, that can promise them a bigger dream, because I'm not gonna be the one to lie to you. I ain't gonna sugarcoat you. I ain't gonna say, oh well, I'm gonna get you here at this amount of time, this, that, the third. A lot of times, to be honest with you, bro, I would get with artists to say, listen, I'm gonna manage you until we get something going, and then we'll do the contracts. You know what I'm saying? That back then was that kind of um, you know, shoot my own self in the foot type deal? Might have been. But at the same time, if you loyal, you loyal. If
That's
you're
right.
not gonna be loyal, then that piece of paper is not gonna hold you to being loyal to me. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So at the end of the day, I'll go ahead and let you go before I let somebody disloyal be around me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or whatever. I remember one time, I'm gonna tell you this quick story. I was managing this R&B cat in Jacksonville. And I done set him up. He even had an investor behind him that I found for him that was putting up money for him to get his clothes, his food, put him in the studio, the whole nine. And I remember one day I got a call, and he was so stupid. He gave me the number to this chick that uh and told me to call her, and she happened to be Huey, the rapper Huey, um, mom. And then we got to talking, and she started telling me how he was trying to get her to manage him. And she said, I told him I don't talk to the artist, I only talk to manager to manager. So she said, don't you have a manager? He was like, yeah, but I want you to manage me or whatever. And me and her talked for 2, 3 hours, and she just thought it was so disrespectful how he did it. And this man was staying at my house when he was coming to town, eat my food, the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So that's how disloyal artists can be. You know what I mean? I had a group of artists. I had a group one time I was managing. They pretty much got blackballed out the industry. I got them where they was actually starting to get hot in the city and up and down the East Coast a little bit, and they decided they're gonna go a different direction, and their career was never the same. I would have DJs, producers, I would have all people in the industry come to me and be like, "Man, what happened? Why you not still with the group? Whatever." I just kind of shrug my shoulders like, ask them. But but everybody used to always ask me like, "Dang, you had them on hot, you had them on fire, you had them hot again." But they didn't see the bigger picture. They saw just that moment and where they wanted to go, and it wasn't fast enough for them. So it
Right.
is what it is.
I understand that, man. I understand that, man. We're almost out of time, man. So, we'll go ahead and do this drop. Thank you for tuning in to the Chatterbox with King Jacob. We're broadcasting live in 191 countries, powered by Zeno FM and the Village Global Network, with online monitoring through online radio box. Shout out to Tiffany Real, She Real Radio. Shout out to T Dubs Entertainment and Radio. Shout out to Kaylee of Independent Chicks. And for more info, you can always contact me, Exquisite PR Firm 365 at gmail.com. I am always taking submissions for interviews and taking submissions for, if you want me and Icon to show up and cover your event, we all always are, willing to work and get into different markets and cover different events as well. And shout out to the Village Global Network, Exquisite PR Firm. And you need us, just give us a call. We are here. So, Icon, do you want to give any shout outs or any future endeavors you might have coming up?
Nah, just shout out to my son, man, out there. He out there in New York killing the game right now, and he already got a couple of movie opportunities on the table. You know what I'm saying? From on the behind the scenes and on the screen coming up. And I'm just proud of him and what he's doing or whatever out there. 'Cause I know he's been working at this thing since he was like 5 years old, and it's starting to really pay off for him now. So I'm just proud of him and what he got going on. But other than that, man, just look forward that we still working on this new radio station, man. So it's coming. We definitely gonna come with this new radio station soon. So y'all just look out for that. You know what I mean? And we just keep y'all up to date on what's going on with that. But other than that, I'm good.
All right,
Shout
all
out
right.
to the family and all that, the wife, the kids, all that kind of stuff. So.
No doubt, no doubt, man. No doubt, man. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Shout out to everybody that shared, everybody that support. Until the next time, man, I want you to be blessed, stay encouraged, but most of all, continue to love yourself because you are here for a purpose. So peace and blessings. We're out of here.